Hi, I'm TJ Shevlin, Senior Content Coordinator at Upper Dack.
And hi, I'm Joe Sorensen, Associate Product Manager for Entertainment at Upper Dack. And you're listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast.
Ow! Yeah.
Hello everybody, my name is Ian Taylor and welcome to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. We've all changed positions. How random. With me this week is Jason.
Hello.
Josh.
Hello.
And from the castle of Upper Dack, out there in Carlsbad lands, is TJ Shevlin and Joe Sorensen. Welcome,
Hello.
Gentlemen.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
It occurs to me, in fact, I'm going to move you two guys. We did this joke before we started, but I'm going to move you two to the bottom. So you're actually on the lower deck. There we go. Which means we're on top of you. It occurred to me, sorry, I'm going off on one now. Must be the whiskey. It occurs to me that we pay your wages. The amount of money we've collectively spent on EPAC and on physical products in the last year alone. So to quote that wonderful film where the guy looks at Tom Hanks and says, "Look at me, I am the captain now."
Captain now.
What have you got to say for yourselves?
You know, I used to deliver for Amazon, and I would get to deliveries a few times, and a few people might feel guilty by ordering all the time, and I would stop by every day, and I would just reassure them, "No, thank you. You are essentially paying my wages." So same type of thing. So thank you, all of you.
No,
I'm also
enough.
of the mindset that you guys buying means that what we do still matters, and that's a big deal for me.
Yes. No, thank you. As I said before, thanks for doing another Eternal sale on EPAC. No, thank you. Half a dozen packs already. No, I've done a dozen packs since it went on sale earlier on. I have no shame. Speaking of people with no shame, Wesley has joined the chat.
Got all the gray hair gents on the bottom row. I like that.
Yeah, well, I think it's
I would have been great, trust me.
and TJ next to each other, actually, because they are birth twins.
There we go.
There he
In
is.
fact, Joe,
What's going on, man?
Joe, you're the meat in a TJ and Wesley sandwich. Look at that.
Again?
Okay. Okay. Moving on. It's all a little bit too white heterosexual on this podcast today. Anyway, so TJ and Joe, you're here to talk about something new that Joe revealed to us exclusively a couple of weeks back. Tell us what's coming and well, basically, give me your elevator pitch.
Okay. For fans who like the Silver Age, let me rephrase. For fans who love the Silver Age, we have our next iteration from the Fleer Throwbacks brand called Fleer Throwbacks 1959 to 63 Marvel Edition. We're hitting the sweet spot. We're delivering the same type of configuration, 3 cards per pack, 15 packs per box, 12 boxes per case. It's filled with an excellent checklist created by TJ, and we're very excited to talk about it and show you guys more.
I'm very excited. So who here went in for throwbacks? Obviously, you two guys at Upper Dack, notwithstanding.
I
I did
did.
a little bit.
I did.
A little bit. Jason, in fact, you've got something there, haven't you? Come on.
So
Show
it's not a complete rainbow, but beast. I still need a blue and a purple.
It's pretty close.
Hang on a sec.
Very cool.
Solo layout. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Love
Look
it.
at that.
Thank you for your collecting. Thank you very much.
I've got a red base set on the way from ComC, and I've got a few of the insert sets and a couple of the achievements at my apartment right now too. So it's fun, very fun set. So I'm looking forward to the next one.
It's also nice for you to show that as well, because and as we've talked about before, the Beast is my favorite, probably one of my two favorite Marvel characters. That is very clearly the bombastic bouncing blue Beast,
Yes.
which we will not be seeing on this. So it's a really nice way to kind of compare and contrast between the two sets. Is a character who goes through such a major change like he does. So
Mhm.
it's super cool.
I love the alliteration with the mighty Marvel manner. Love it. Love it, TJ.
So, what will we be seeing in this set?
Well, great question. So we have two different base sets in this product. We have each are 30 cards deep. We're focusing on two different sports designs to carry this base set. Um, our first design will be modeled after the 1963 Fleer baseball design. That will be 30 subjects, and our unofficial high series, the additional 30 cards in the base set, will be modeled after our 1961 to 62 Fleer NBA design. There is a lot of the structure that we saw in the 89 product will be returning for this 59 to 63 iteration. It's important to us to kind of identify and stick to a brand and stick to the components. We really want to focus on something that collectors can begin to expect from certain brands going into something. They should know that it should remain the same configuration. It should remain mostly some of the same components with a few extra little sprinkled in upgrades, if you will.
Nice.
Yeah, but I could from the top, I could take it all the way through what we can expect to see if you guys have a moment.
Well, it's your ball, gentlemen. This is for you to tell everyone what
Thank
to
you.
expect about this set, so they go and buy it.
Okay, well, thank you. And so, as many of us might remember from the '89 version, or many of our listeners here might not have experienced that. So, we do have an assortment of parallel cards. Our first parallel will be the red. We've created that rainbow again. So we have an orange, we have a green, a blue, and a purple. I Let me get into the serial numbering. So let's say, for instance, we have two different splits for the serial numbering for the two different base sets, and they're both thematic. So in the 1963 orange parallel, those will be serial numbered to 263, being the 63 from the year. For our 1961 to 62 orange parallel, those will be serial numbered to 261. And just kind of essentially that same cadence. So just real quick, I'll jump into the greens. The 1963 green parallel is serial numbered to 63. The 6162 green parallel is serial numbered to 61. Continuing on, our 1963 blue is serial numbered to 23. Our 1961 to 62 blue is serial numbered to 21. And finally, our 1963 purple is serial numbered to 3. So it's different from 89, where the lowest was 5. We have a 3
Gotcha.
here. And our 1961 to 62 purple will be our true one of ones in this product.
Ooh.
So we will have a one of one in this product, not only for sketch, as we've seen in a previous product. We also have sketch in this one as well. But we do have a true one of one purple available in this product. Jumping ahead real quick, we do have stackable parallels on EPAC. I should have mentioned this. This is an EPAC exclusive product only. This will not be in blasters in retail at Target. This will not be in hobby shops. This is exclusively the EPAC experience. And again, kind of what we touched on 6 months ago. This is kind of to create that conversation in the EPAC space of, comic card collectors as well as sports cards collectors, kind of both getting into the mix. And when it comes time to trade, send offers out, there'll be a lot of overlap. We're trying to encourage more of that community in the EPAC community, not to sound redundant. But our first stacking parallel is our glossy gold. Again, that will be a 5 stack, or I should say 5 copies of any base set could be combined to create that glossy gold. Our second stackable parallel is our glossy black coming back. That will be 10 copies of any glossy gold. So it will be quite an undertaking, but we wanted elements of the previous version and this version. You can't complete this in one day type of thing. So there will be a little bit of work to make these glossy blacks, more valuable by the time they are achieved. Jumping forward into our inserts. So we have 4 main inserts. We're leaning into in Fleer basketball, there was an insert called In Action. And it was essentially the basketball player in motion, in action, doing something of the sort, whereas in their base set card would be a static pose. Our second insert is called Marvel Greats. Our third insert is Monsters of Marvel. Again, with that late 50s leaning into 1959 here. And our fourth insert is Prototypes of the Past. And before we dig into all of this a bit more in depth, I'll just round out the rest of the product. We have stickers.
Ooh.
Oh,
So
nice.
back in the early 50s, early 60s, stickers were kind of a big hit, big deal in card packs. And of course, when you fast forward to the 80s, 90s, when I was a kid, TJ was a kid, we'd put the stickers on the notebook at school or whatever, or on the bike seat or the bike frame, whatever, wherever it went, or the bedpost, for instance. But moving forward, we do again have the sketch cards. We do have specific sketch cards for achievement only with a whole different design modeled after the 1963 Fleer baseball design. So anyone who remembers the 89 product, essentially how we modeled those achievement sketch cards after the 89 design, we'll be doing something of the same sort here to set those aside as well. And finally, we have an achievement program called Comics Greatest Spider-Man Achievements.
Oh,
And so for our Spider-Man lovers in this particular podcast, as well as many of our listeners who love Spider-Man. So with the quick little breeze over, we can go in depth in any way, shape, or form with any of this.
Well, I guess my first question is, do you have anything you can show us?
Yes, I do. Yes, I absolutely
Nice.
do.
yeah.
And if I'm allowed to, may I share my screen, please?
Yeah, I think you can. Let me just. How do I? Hang on a minute.
I think present. I think I
There we
have
go.
it.
I think you can do it. I think you can just
Let's
do it.
see.
from there.
Okay, let's take a look.
See, now I'm just looking behind you to see if there's anything secret on anyone's screen.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here.
Sneaky.
So present slides. So I apologize to anybody here. I'm just trying to navigate here.
No,
Share
that's okay.
screen.
That's all right. We're both
Yeah.
very new.
Screenshotting your office.
And for our listeners, I'm currently navigating the options here for the screen. So share a screen. Let's see. Window. Here we go.
There we go.
Okay. Can everybody see what's currently on my screen?
Hang on a minute. You can now because
Here
I've
it comes.
just. Oh, there we
Oh.
go.
Hello.
Wow.
Love.
That's,
Oh my god. Yeah.
That is beautiful.
That's really cool.
That was the response we were hoping for. So this, as we can see, is our Mr. Fantastic card from the base set. This is from the 1961 to 62 Fleer basketball design. TJ, if you would please, would you care to share any blurbs, any bits about any of the cards that I will be sharing coming soon?
Absolutely.
Yes, as we can see here, color matched with the character's primary color up here on the top, much like what we saw from the original Fleer basketball product. What we have is an image of Mr. Fantastic from that time period as well. TJ, how much fun did you have in building this base set?
Oh no, it was a ton of fun. But here's the other thing about it. So there are a lot of challenges in building a base set like this. For example, if you look, we have Fantastic Four issue 1 is, Reed Richards, first appearance of the Fantastic Four, first Mole Man, except Reed is in costume on this card, and the Fantastic Four don't get costumes until FF issue 3.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's one of those things where we have to be willing to kind of allow for what can be perceived as inaccuracies so that we can build a product that still feels exciting. Because let's be honest, in 1961, 62, if they were making a card set, they're not going to care that it says issue 1, but he's in costume here, because all that's going to matter is, does he look like the superhero?
Yeah, they want the true
So-
form.
Right.
Exactly. So that was a big deal for me as far as the content went on this, was how do I allow for this legitimate sense of accuracy, but still make it exciting for you guys too. So
Yeah.
it was definitely a bit of a challenge there, but it's my favorite kind of challenge.
Well said, TJ. I would have to say, well said. Yes. So, anybody, mistakes do occur. Sometimes they are intentionally done in order to elevate the collector experience,
Yeah.
as TJ mentioned. So, with that being said, I'm just going to jump into what our other base set component looks like.
Oh,
Ooh.
So right now we are actually viewing the red parallel, and this is from
Wow.
our 1963 Fleer baseball design. So the 30 cards in that side of the checklist will look this way, minus the red border. TJ, how much fun was this?
Again, I mean, it's fun through limitations. The X-Men debuted in 1963, and we have 2 issues that we get to use before we get to 1964. So there's not a lot that I get to do with the X-Men. So it really was about making sure that every image that we chose for the 5 X-Men, for Professor Xavier, and for Magneto, making sure that all of those popped. So, because I think the only X-Men villains that we get, it's Magneto and is it Eunice the Untouchable?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot that we get to play with there, but it was very cool.
Very cool.
So, am I right in thinking that this is much like the other set? It's only characters that would have been around at that period. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. Wesley, we're okay.
But
Not so 70.
here's where it gets interesting.
Oh,
Because you'll notice when you get through the base set, and am I allowed to give away a little inside baseball here,
Please,
Joe?
please do, TJ.
So, when did Captain America debut?
I know.
41.
1941.
Nice.
But there is no Captain America in this set, because the only appearance that Captain America has between 1959 and 1963 is an imposter Captain America. Cap doesn't return until 1964, Avengers issue 4, but within the time frames that we're using, there are no Captain America stories, so I couldn't use him in this.
I'm with you.
Thank you. I did want to call out this tagline at the bottom. I have a note from Brand. This Marvel copyright on the card fronts is intentional and only for the viewership within this live stream. This tagline will not be on the card front of the actual cards.
I'm with you. So the little black box that we're seeing just at the bottom of each card image is kind of like a watermark for your digital images that you're showing us now, yeah?
I believe so. This was what other departments felt they were comfortable with doing before providing it to me for the purpose of this broadcast.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Good.
Perfect. And as we can see here, this secondary image of the character in this, baseball diamond shape at the bottom is it's a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
obviously it's probably going to be quite a challenge to try to find, full body image secondary to include here, but we did go through those lengths.
And to lift the pencils out so cleanly, or the inks rather.
Yeah.
Very true. So I'm going to continue on. Here is the third card we will see, and this will be our orange parallel of the 1961-62 portion of the base set.
Nice.
it's, isn't it like, didn't they just have some found in a box somewhere, a 61 Wilt Chamberlain that was the only one that scored a 10? And it looks just like this. Did anybody hear about that? Just talk about going from sports to, it looks pretty good.
I didn't hear about
Great.
that crazy find, but yes, this was essentially the reason we picked this design was how important, how famous that Wilt Chamberlain, his rookie card, made this set. So around that time this year, this was something that made sense to a few of us internally, and we just ran with it.
It looked great.
Thank you. We will move forward. This will be okay. This is one of our glossy gold parallels from the 1963 baseball set of the base set. Again, only achievable through stacking on EPAC. TJ,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to offend anybody, but when I hear the name Namor, I've made a joke with Ian before. I always think no more. But anyway, so with that being
I
said,
always just say fucking Namor.
For whatever it's worth, the only other person who says Namor the way you do, Joe, is Reed Richards. And Ian, you can't say fucking Namor without saying King Namor in there.
True.
I'm going to
just
have to think
saying.
of a different
You're
expletive.
still throwing
to put in front of
respect
it.
on that.
Well,
there.
there is another expletive I can use, but I think a lot of our audience would hitch up their skirts and run into the wilderness we've discussed. So TJ,
Yeah.
start talking so I can stop.
that's great.
I'm just thinking about the Neymar metallurgy I hit, and I wanted to throw it against the wall. It was a nice card, though.
I mean, he's got a nice hat. Let's face it. It looks pretty good.
Pretty sweet.
And it is. I mean, it is a very nice image.
It is. It's a good image selection from TJ in concert with our photo department. Absolutely.
It matches right up with the I think it's the '63 Roberto Clemente that how they have the drawing underneath. I mean, the whole setup, it just looks like it's tailored right after that, and it's gonna, I'm sure, bring a lot of sports people over to grabbing some of their favorite characters for sure.
Thank you, Wesley.
This is also a lot of fun too because there was a long held kind of, I guess I want to say, it was known, but it wasn't really broadcasted, that Jack Kirby didn't like to draw characters that he didn't have a hand in creating, which is why you rarely saw a Kirby Doctor Strange or a Kirby Spider-Man or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Namor, being a character that he didn't create, it was Bill Everett. Jack still drew such a killer Namor, like one of the definitive Submariners. So it's always pretty cool to see that.
Definitely.
It's that
Definitely.
chair. It's that fish chair he's sitting in.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
call attention to that.
I tried to
Some sort of
convince my wife to
clamshell.
let us get one, but she shot me down.
Did you put that in the bathroom?
Yeah, she said the idea was fishy.
It sounds right.
Oh
It
my
sounds-
goodness!
yeah.
How long have you had that up your sleeve?
How many images are you guys given per character to choose from?
That's a good question.
There's not a ton of images that were clear and usable. Obviously, we wanted to make sure that we got the stuff that was the most exciting, the stuff where there was enough of maybe half body to full body that we could get. So there were some things where we really kind of had to acquiesce on, oh well, it's not the coolest looking, but it's the most usable.
Works for the card.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I still think for the character selection that we had, there are a lot of really good images. The struggle on the character selection for images is because we have such a limited time frame. I mean, for the superhero stuff, we only really have 1961 to 63. 59 and 60 really don't play into the superhero component to this. So we have to use a lot of supporting cast. So, your Betty Rosses and your Aunt Mays and your J. Jonah Jamesons and, Pepper Potts and so on and so on. So it still looks really cool because it allows that world to feel full in the way that like Stan and Jack and Steve and, John Buscema, all those guys intended. But to someone who's looking at this as a trading card and not storytelling, it's almost going to look like filler, but the reality is those were the characters available for the time.
That was the Marvel Universe at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were 100% heavily involved in the stories and the ways. None of our heroes would be the heroes they are without each and every component and supporting cast member in their lives and storylines as well. So
I'm wondering if there'll be another Aunt May Bong card in this.
or what was the other one? The COVID Doctor Strange.
COVID Strange.
There's COVID
COVID
Strange,
Strange.
and then there's Nick Fury. Looks like he's hammered.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Yeah, my green PMG.
Wesley, I did want to thank you for calling that out about the Roberto Clemente thing earlier. Grant was very adamant about we need these designs to look as close to the real thing as possible, and there were talks about, well, this might be, a bit more difficult to achieve, like a full body image down here in the diamond, but that we didn't cut any corners. We made sure we located exactly what we needed to. TJ in his deep dives, and again, like, it's very very limited in that space, that time frame that we created of pulling content then. So we know these characters debuted around that time, but how many issues were there? How many pages and panels? Like, how much did we actually have to pull from? And I think we put together a very good product based on again, I feel like we say this every episode, based on the limited assets we had available to us, but we actually did that to ourselves by limiting the years in this product.
Well, and I was wondering too, like, what would it be like going from one product to where in the 89 you probably left out a couple that you wanted to put into something where with this one it kind of was a little harder to find the stuff to put in there, like you had to use some of the more the accident characters, the characters that was probably a big swing, a big difference.
Well, and with the baseball, with the sports overlap in the theming of this product, I like that too. But yeah, I mean, one of the benefits and something that's honestly quite exciting is every product is different, and some of the unique challenges for every product will be different. And we all come out of it a bit sharper, a bit quicker, a bit faster at knowing how to get around some issues potentially in the future as well. So that is one benefit.
I think that's interesting. What's the phrase? Necessity is the mother of invention. So
Absolutely.
If you're limited, because I guess you're absolutely, as Wesley said, absolutely spoiled for choice when you get to 1989, because you've had like at least a decade of corner boxes with full figure pictures in that you could probably lift, if not more. You've got little head cutouts and splashes and bursts on front covers that you can lift. But from this period, all those bells and whistles, they weren't there yet, were they?
Correct. And speaking of bells and whistles that weren't there yet, we also limited the technology in this product to what was around in that time frame. So, there won't be a gloss on any of these cards again, much like the 89 product, because cards just weren't really glossy around that time. However, we do have the stackable parallels will remain glossy, our inserts as well. But as far as the feel of that, the paper on the base set will remain a vintage type of feel.
I will say as well, one of the things that is really cool about this set, in talking earlier about character limitations, the villains outnumber the heroes in this set technically by 1, even though from a count of names, we have 19 heroes and 19 villains. Technically, we have 18 heroes because Hank Pym shows up twice as Ant-Man and as Giant Man.
Gotcha.
But, it's 19 villains, 18 heroes, and 12 civilians.
Wow. Nice breakdown.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool.
Right. That's interesting about Hank Pym. He does get a double shake of things, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, an extra crack.
If we got to hit 64, we would have also gotten him as Goliath.
Oh yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Wow.
And as TJ mentioned, we would have had Captain America, but we do
there
we
would
are
have been a lot. Yeah, there would have been obviously Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. There would have been the new additions to the Avengers. Eventually with Black Knight and Black Widow and Hawkeye. There's plenty of characters that we would have gotten.
Green Goblin, I think.
Green Goblin
64, yeah.
Yep, issue 9.
Mm-hmm.
So 13 rather, excuse me. But there's a lot of cool stuff that we would have gotten to use. But I still think having this small period here makes this even more interesting because it really looks like the birth more than anything.
Yeah,
absolutely. And this is essentially a celebration of what became around that time with the Marvel era in the mix. So I am going to jump to the next one here. We have
Oh.
our
Ah,
we
Oh,
have
King
our
Grey.
glossy black stackable parallel that
Wow.
we're looking at. Yes, and Marvel Girl, as we can see, with the additional secondary image in the lower diamond.
Sticking
Yes.
to the to the technology of that particular area seems like a pretty cool extra thing you guys did just to make the set like just a little bit better. Are you guys pretty proud of that?
Yeah, I would say, thank you. Yeah, I think, making sure only the characters who were around back then were included, making sure that only the depictions or images of these characters from back then was included. But yeah, it definitely felt like, an additional measure or step. Like, well, if we're doing that, we need to make sure that we're not hitting people with holograms and, other insert
Sure.
sets that we've seen in the past. No PMGs here, please. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was something that we kind of want to make it feel like it's pulled out of a time capsule, like we can all venture back to this time. And this would, as you guys may or may not remember from about 6 months ago, the whole creation of this product was essentially, well, what if they did create something back then? What would it look like? And who would it include, and what images would we see? And that is the fun that we have with this brand. So
I feel like Marvel Girl is looking like right into my mind. So, that stare is.
I mean,
Almost
it's-
like-
Like the end of Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald
Yes.
Sutherland.
yeah,
It's just-
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
real of its period image.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be rude in any way, but it does look like she's just dropped acid. I mean, she's off her tits. Look at her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
But
would
you
say
guys,
her face
you
on
really,
you, but-
you really did hit on the card structure, the font, everything. It's a
Yeah.
time capsule set. It brings you back to, everything the way it's built. The tones of the parallels, they're all on point. All the color schemes and stuff of the parallels, they're what we had back then.
thank you,
Here's
Josh.
a fun fact too: the inset image, when you get to Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's to scale.
It's a little fun we have up. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
All right, let's see what we have coming up next. I feel like there might be a drum roll every time. Here we go. Bam. So we have our
Oh,
green
nice.
parallel.
Nice.
That is awesome.
That's a cool color match.
Mhm.
Very
So
cool.
good.
Very cool.
Yeah, the color matches with these are going to be killer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We hope so. And, and back to Josh's point about the parallels a moment ago, too, is, it's another speaking point that was mentioned, the first time around. If we have any new listeners this time around, thank you. Welcome. But yeah, we're trying to create something that would benefit the casual collector, and we're trying to create something that would benefit the bit more hardcore in-depth collector. And so if you're a character collector or a completist, we do offer the rainbow for your favorite character if your favorite character is found in this product.
Are the rainbows, are they the same type, same color? You might have said this already, but like, is this green the same font, same color green as in the 89 set, or is it?
I'm not positive. I cannot confirm nor deny that.
Okay.
There are so many different shades of colors that I actually don't know. That is a great question.
Okay.
Sorry, all the designers out there as well. And my own design department is probably going to be fairly unhappy with that.
I'm sure that.
that.
Well,
We
it's a
spent
fairly
so
open
long
plan
on it.
office. I'm sure they can throw something at your head if they needed to. And for those who are joining us new this time, you can see the episode where TJ and Joe showed us the first Fleer Throwbacks product. It's episode 196. You can find it on this very channel. In fact, I'll put it as the suggested video at the end of this episode. So all you got to do is finish watching this, click on the little thing that pops up, and you're off to the races. Another an hour and a half of gorgeous TJ and Joe action. Who could ask for more? And I've already got your intro. This is all coming together beautifully.
And it's like a throwback in itself too. So it all
It
dovetails
is.
nicely.
It is.
It is.
Wow.
It is. It's quite meta.
Yeah, I was just going to say it. Like Inception, the dream within a dream. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, so our next... Oh, next one here we have.
Oh, that's
I-
Uncanny issue 1 cover, isn't it?
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, Cyclops. I love it.
And we can see in the lower diamond section, he's calling his shot like Babe Ruth. He's about to light up the whole scenery with his optic blast. He's just letting people know.
I'm wondering here if my friend Brandon, who's an Iceman collector, is going to be cursing this. Is that a little bit of Iceman?
That is little snow boy down there.
See, I'm wondering here. See, my as a character collector, some people go as far as collecting if their character just appears in text on a card. So checklist to fair game. I'm not one of those people. It's bad enough that Black Cat visually appears on the back of each of the pin flares in the new flare set on Spider-Man. So therefore I have to have all 5 of them because my self-imposed limits are she visually appears on the card. However, a part of the body where the character may or may not be identifiable from that, I might need to have a little word with Brandon and say, Brandon, what are your boundaries here?
Well, it would suck if someone was a Marvel Girl collector because all you get is that boot over there.
Yeah,
Right.
And they
but
didn't
for
know
some
until
Marvel
right
Girl
now.
collectors, that's enough.
Yeah.
But what an amazing boot it is.
Yes. Well, I think I see the card I made rainbow. I mean, I know there's more to show, but I really like that image.
It's a great shot.
Thank you. Yeah, and that is what we're looking at. This will be our 1963 blue, so this will be serial number to 23.
That's blue?
Okay.
That is blue.
Okay.
So we have a little bit of a darker blue here, but as we can
Okay.
see with our purple moving forward, it's a little bit of a lighter purple. So
Okay.
maybe this answers Wesley's question before about are we using the same shades. I want to say after looking at this blue and the next purple, I maybe we're not. But with that being said, let us jump forward. We have our purple
Okay.
Invisible Girl. So this will be serial number to 3. This card we're looking at right now.
Wow. Okay.
And it looks like she just watched Marvel Girl drop acid. And she got a ride from her that night. So
Or she dropped it with her.
Yeah.
But it's the 60s. This stuff happened.
Nobody can read.
One of these days, I really want, and I've said this before, I'd really love for someone to do an Invisible Girl card that's actually just blank.
Yeah, where it's
Someone's gotta
raining,
have the stones
it's just
to
a
do it at
silhouette.
some point. Even if it's just like a variant, like a 1 in 10, like
I love that.
But no, these original. I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan necessarily. I've never been able to get on with it, but I love the artwork on these OG issues and just the depiction of them. I think which is why I'm really excited about the new Fantastic Four movie, because they're having that very 60s styling.
Yeah.
And I know Joe, you were there. So TJ, did you go with him to San Diego Comic-Con, by the way? Were you in Hall H with him?
No, I don't do Hall H. I've done it once, and that was enough for me. I'm there for comic books, and that's it. Hall H once was enough.
Okay.
I had a good Hall H experience. It's the New Yorker in me. I hate waiting on lines.
Yeah. Fair enough. I can. Yeah, I'm English. We queue for anything. So
I was just gonna say, you guys love your cues in
Yeah.
English.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Queue up. Now queue up.
Yeah.
We'll queue for anything. That's so funny.
I know. No, this is cool. I dig
like
that.
it. The insert image or inset image for her is great too. I like that.
Definitely. Yeah.
This reminds me enormously of I think it was Beginnings you did it, where you swapped the inset and the main card image for some of the parallels.
FX called Flipped FX. Thank you.
Yeah, I know that would look so cool with that particular image that's in the diamond in almost every case I've seen so far. You've probably not done it because this is a different, this isn't Marvel Beginnings, but still, I've spoken.
You have, and I'm taking mental notes for anything and everything that we could possibly incorporate in the future.
Oh, well, there you go. You see, I'm giving you ideas.
We'll send you the check. And here we are moving forward. Here is our in-action insert.
Nice.
Oh, Doctor Doom. That's such a cool image.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That is so cool. There's a
Holds-
lot of big Doom collectors. Even before the Hall H this year, Doom has been
Absolutely.
he's very popular. I think I'd even go as far as to say he's probably almost the most popular villain character aside from maybe Venom at the moment, amongst a lot of collectors.
So this to me was really cool doing a set like this, because while Spider-Man is my all-time favorite Marvel hero,
Mhm.
my all-time favorite Marvel villain is Doctor Doom.
Mm.
And this set, he shows up all over the place. It's chock full of him. It's still a perfect design, even with minor little, redesign stuff like that here and there. It is a perfect costume, start to finish, and just the way Jack draws him, there is no character that has a greater presence as far as command of the space on a page the way Kirby would draw Doctor Doom. And so getting to do that on these cards, I think was also like not a challenge in the sense of like, wow, this is really hard, but in the sense of how do you keep all of that like Jack Kirby,
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I think here it's a slam dunk. I think we nail it.
Oh, listen, you cut that card, it'll bleed Kirby. That's brilliant.
Yeah, TJ. So going into this operation, at the time where you're like, let's say I might be, sharing with other how we do in operations here. When you learn of this product, did you immediately have an image in your mind for any of this stuff? Like, oh, I'm absolutely going.
Oh,
Knowing
100%.
you're probably like issue 1, page 9, panel 2, top right, going there.
There was a lot of that in this, and it's just because anybody, no matter how old you are, if you've ever worked in a comic book store, the first thing that you want to do is hold old comic books. You want to hold all those cool Golden Age, Silver Age, and Bronze Age books, and get a feel for stuff that you're never going to be able to afford, but it's, oh man, this is as close as I get. And there was never, and you can go into any comic shop and you can always ask them like what's the most exciting stuff to get in the store, and almost always it's going to be the Marvel age of comics, the Silver Age Marvel stuff. And so immediately in my head it's, well, I know what Spideys I want to use, I know what Doctor Dooms I want to use, Doctor Strange, like all that cool weird Steve Ditko, like Vincent Price looking Doctor Strange, exactly what you want to lean into. And so when Joe gave me the build, and I was like figuring out like how I'm gonna, fill the body with the guts here, it was like it was just, oh man, it was so much fun.
Excellent. Yeah, so we're looking at one of the 10. It dawned on me I didn't share how large these insert sets were. All 4 of the insert sets are 10-card insert sets. So what we're looking at here is one of the 10 in-action inserts. I also wanted to call out that there are 10 unique stickers as well, and we will get moving a little bit further here. So moving along into our Marvel Greats insert set.
Oh, OG Iron Man. Look
So
at that.
This
That
is
cool.
picking up the 1961 Fleer baseball design. So I did want to mention then too that we actually leaned into about 5 or 6 different Fleer sports products from this time frame for elements of what this product will look like. And so for this particular insert, TJ, how and why, and it looks like he's coming down from space, but no, I love it 100%.
No, this was fun. Give me a sec. I'm pulling up my list for this one as well.
Sure. This is an Iron Man who lives where it snows. Check those boots out. You see the
Yeah,
thread? in those
Yeah, the treads on them and all that, right?
The moon boots.
Yeah, the Marvel Greats insert was super cool as well. Because I think the characters that I put in there, the mindset that I had with that are, I don't want to give so I don't want to give away too much on it, but a lot of what I wanted to do was make sure it was a good mix of heroes and villains. Marvel Greats didn't have any civilian characters in there, any love interests, any, Jonah, Thunderbolt Ross, nothing like that. It was all heroes and villains. And then the hard part was having to decide which heroes and villains went in there. Um, because I had used some of them previously on some of the other inserts that you'll see, but this is where another Marvel girl shows up. I promise she doesn't look as acid trippy as the first one, but
She's on the rebound. Yeah.
yeah, no,
before and after.
she's coming down. She's okay. But yeah, this was really cool. Let me see. You got two, couple X-Men, couple Avengers, couple Fantastic Four. That's all I'm going to say. And you will see in here, even though the Avengers don't happen technically yet, we get the first issue, and I think that's about it. There are still ways I try to put the Avengers together through this.
Now, is this? Did I hear you say this? Is this one a sticker, or the stickers are coming later?
The stickers are coming later.
Okay,
But
sorry.
yeah, this is our second physical insert card, Marvel Greats.
So honestly, J. Jonah Jameson and Thunderbolt Ross would look good with that patriotic kind of theme.
Oh, that's a
That-
good call, Jason.
Yeah,
But I get,
especially
I get
Thunderbolt.
wanting to stick to superheroes.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. All right, our third physical.
Now I'm thinking about that, and I'm kind of sad I didn't do that.
Sorry.
That's so good.
That was good. That was good, Jason. Moving into our third insert, Monsters of Marvel.
Nice.
Oh,
This picks up the 61 Fleer football design.
Okay.
All right, so
CJ, how fun was it with the monsters?
I'm going to say this now, 100% far and away my favorite insert in this set. I love Marvel Monsters. I love the weird 50s Atlas, Marvel stuff. It's so much fun. But this is also, maybe other than Marvel Beginnings, and we've used a couple of them, but there's nothing more fun than when you get to use, look, Fin Fang Foom still matters in the Marvel universe, and
Sure.
Groot matters more than ever than he ever has in the Marvel
Right.
universe. But I get to use Goom and Googam, son of Goom, and that's the greatest thing ever. That's how you know you've gotten to a place where you're like, you know what? Yeah, I've done everything I can. I've peaked.
If I could, real
The
quick,
peak cup.
TJ and I, we had a sit down, and we discussed how achievable is this? What are some ideas we can both kind of take ownership of? Would this work? An insert set this size, do you have enough? And I swear when TJ mentioned Goom and Googam, I was like, oh, bless you, or, I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, those are characters. Okay, thank you. So just
No,
a
but
lot of fun to say.
But it was cool too, because It the Living Colossus gets used later on in the Marvel universe as well, but his roots are in that weirdo kind of Marvel monsters. They don't know what to publish anymore because superheroes aren't in fashion at this point yet.
Right.
So it's romance and horror and war comics. So it's all stuff that's really cool, and it's nice too because beyond Fin Fang Foom and Groot, so many of these characters eventually get used again in Monsters Unleashed over at by Eric Powell when he was doing that for Marvel. So it's always fun when you get to see publishers take those roots and find ways to make them still usable and still relevant. And this was just our way of being able to celebrate what kept Marvel alive when superheroes weren't even keeping comics as a whole alive.
Right.
Well said. And speaking of color matching, we have Fin Fang Foom with his color matched underoos. Moving on. Moving along, we have our fourth and final physical insert set. I keep saying that for some odd reason. All of our inserts are physical. I'll touch more on all of that stuff when we're finished viewing these images, but here's our fourth insert set called Prototypes of the Past. This picks up a 1960 football design.
So this is the other insert that I really liked, and I have to tell you, I'm a little, and this isn't Joe's fault at all. We were kind of given what we had to work with for what we're doing here with you guys today. The Hank Pym one, to the naked eye, it's how is this a prototype? This makes no sense. But Tales to Astonish 27, for anybody who's watching who doesn't know, Hank Pym was just a scientist who creates this gas that allows him to shrink down to ant size. There was never an intention of using the character again. It didn't matter. And then it was, oh, okay, we got to create more superheroes. What about that Shrinky Book guy that you did? Let's take him. And so you get, Tales of Astonish 34, and lo and behold, the astonishing Ant-Man is born. Exactly.
Right.
But what's really cool is when you get past the Hank Pym one, because again, the Hank Pym one is easy because nothing changes other than him becoming a superhero. But all of the others that we get to use in this insert, you'll see characters with names like Hulk, or names like Magneto, or names like Electro, or names like Doctor Strange that have nothing to do with the characters that they look like, the ones that you immediately think of. It's all of these, again, late 50s, early 60s characters that they were trying to throw at the wall and see what sticks, basically. And every one of them that's in here, it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, Dr. Droom is in here, which eventually becomes Dr. Druid, which, as I've said before, in 1989, he's the worst Avenger ever. So it's always cool to see what didn't work, and then they take it to try to make it work again. We've Hulk in here is the prototype for Hulk, but he is the villain Zemnu. So that's how he starts out. He's technically in this set too. I don't want to give away more. I could gush about this insert. It's super rad. I love it. I think it's boss as hell. So yeah, it's great.
Thank you. Yeah, this was a Grant conversation. He started rattling off, well, did you know that, Magneto, and he starts listing off other characters, and Doctor Strange and others and other characters, and well, they were actually, based on or prototypes.
Right. First attempt.
Yeah.
So
to create,
as TJ mentioned too. Yeah, this one may have been I don't know about more labor intensive, but I think on the collector's side, they might spend a bit more time with these cards and reading the backs and trying to figure out, like, okay, well, this might be, if there is a point in any of this product where a random collector might not know as much about a particular character, I'm pretty sure they're going to find something in this insert set that they're going to pause and they're going to read and read slowly, and they're going to probably find out something that they didn't know before.
Did we lose TJ?
Oh. Actually, I sit near him, so let me just...
I think here he comes. He's back.
There he is.
He's back.
All right,
there he is.
Okay.
As are.
Yes. All right. So that rounds out the four inserts. That
Joe, I did want to bring up real fast.
Yeah.
This is going to be a difficult insert for character collectors, because if they're a Hulk fan or a Magneto fan or a Doctor Strange fan, how is it going to fit in the characters that they collect? But I think, again, that's where the fun in all of this is going to be.
Absolutely. And if you're a character collector and you don't know their origins, then are you truly a character collector?
Right, absolutely.
So this might help with many people. But moving forward, we have something, we're excited about this whole thing, but this next one's pretty exciting too. Our stickers. So
nice.
This is modeled after the 1961 Fleer baseball team logo designs. However, we did not want to lean all the way into logos. We have a couple. We also have a couple, as we can see here, with character heads, as we can see in corner boxes. But yeah, TJ, how much fun was the sticker set?
Well, this was fun because I got to theme all of this. So when you guys get each sticker, you'll be able to pick up what the theme of it is, and not all of it is based around, like, oh, how can I put this? There are some where, remember, a lot of the Marvel books at this period are anthology magazines.
Right.
So there are characters that you're going to be like, why are they together? And it's because they share the same book.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. Like, there's one for Strange Tales, one for Tales of Suspense, one for Tales to Astonish, one for Journey into Mystery, but it's very cool.
And all of those
Nice.
huge titles back then. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool because the those books had like the front story was one character and the back story was another character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, I think we're getting toward the end of the line here. No, we have Mr. Hunched Over Mr. Fantastic, who ate a bad burrito. I'm just joking with everyone. Actually, let me just take a look. I probably should have previewed these cards before we started rolling, but this looks to be another of our base set from the 1963 baseball design. As we saw at the beginning of the loop, we saw Mr. Fantastic's 1961-62 version of the base set. So this would be his second card in the base set.
Nice.
Either that or he is I'll save the jokes, but
there's so many uses for this power here.
Yeah.
You don't even have to really find a bathroom from where he's at. Just, aside from the obvious performance enhancement issue.
I love the fact that I lowered the tone and you lot have run with the ball. Brilliant. There we go.
Oh, perfect. So let's see what else we might have here. Okay, we have an additional. We have a Thor.
Yeah.
Beautiful classic Thor.
And then we have that front facing, coming straight at you, head on image in the lower inset here. Yeah. TJ.
This one's great.
Oh, thank you. TJ, how big was Thor and other Asgardians or mystic characters from back then?
Well, I mean, Journey in the Mystery was obviously the big fantasy book that they were doing, and it was an easy way to kind of mix fantasy and superhero stuff together. Kirby obviously was a big fan of all that. And as you get further into Kirby's work, you'll see religion and religious mythology, religious iconography becomes really big as far as where his storytelling moves forward, even and not even over at the Distinguished Competition, but even stuff with the Eternals. You see he really plays with a lot of Aztec and Mayan work and Hinduism and all of that, and all of that really gets to start in his comics career on Thor, on Journey in the Mystery, and taking something that is viewed as mythological and making it more so. So all of it's super cool. It's a lot of fun. Thor's just a great character, and honestly, one of the cooler parts when you get beyond the Asgardian stuff, creating such an enduring supporting character like Jane Foster. We always think of the Mary Janes and the Liz Allens and all of that, but I mean Jane is just such a massively enduring supporting cast character. So
TJ, do you know what book this image is from?
Yeah, that's Journey 83 right there.
Okay, I was going to say it's very, very familiar.
That's his first appearance, right?
Yep.
Love it.
So cool.
I have I know TJ and I we bring impressions every time. I have an impression of Chris Hemsworth saying Jane. Anyway, sorry. We have one final card here. Oh, no sympathy laughs. Thank you. We have one final card, and we are going to get to it. Our final card here. We have Iron Man. Famous cover.
That's his first. That's from his first appearance too, right? Yeah.
Heavy boots of lead.
Well said. Yes. So that is the end of the photo reel I have available. If you guys had a moment, I could probably tighten up or button up a little bit more information about the set. All right. So again, this will be, let me just pop it back up. Apologies. So this, as I mentioned before, will be a 3-card pack. Just as before, unfortunately, one of these cards will be physical. The other 2 will be digital. However, with this being e-pack exclusive, there is a use for those digital cards. And so for the 2 digital cards will be base set. Your physical card could be an insert, a serial numbered parallel, a sticker, a printing plate, or a sketch card.
So
we get printing
nice.
Yes.
Wow,
So this
okay.
is going to be quite fun. Actually, let me just. Yeah. Okay, just confirmed. Yes, printing plates. I almost jumped off a bridge just now. Yeah.
The printing plates are huge to be in there because I've talked to a lot of people from different sets that hit their first plate, and it sticks with them. It's a different. It starts to make them think about the production of it all, and what stuff was wrapped around it and involved with it. So that's one of those cards that draws people in. Go, wait, are there plates for other sets? Okay, let me.
This always gets me thinking about the whys. Okay. And what I mean by that is the why didn't printing plates make it into Fleer 89? Because I know that Jason would love a printing plate to go with that rainbow. And I'm often wondering if that's a decision that's taken because it's new or because of budget reasons, or that, because they are, my understanding is they are genuinely used in production, and I've got them with ink splodges on, with scratches on, that you can tell they've been used. Sometimes they might get so absolutely screwed, or it could be a production process that doesn't allow you to use them. I'm never sure which it is, and it might be a different answer for different sets.
That is true. It's kind of situational. If we don't claim them from a vendor, they say they wash them and use them for something else. Apparently, they can be washed, scrubbed clean, and reused for other applications.
Interesting.
I will fall on the sword here. The reason they were not included in the 89 product is because I didn't know enough to know enough at the time that I built that product to include those. I had been informed after the fact these printing plates exist. We just have to request them back from the vendor. And so I did not know enough to know to do that at the time. So knowing what I know now, they are here. Apologies about them not being in the 89 set, but hey, we are moving forward, trying to learn of ways of doing things better.
Oh, sure. There you go. Have a word with Lenny over at the factory. I'm sure he's probably got one.
He's got a whole closet full of them, sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I washed them.
There is. I washed them.
Here's the wash one.
There's a guy on eBay I found who used to work, or a family member used to work at one of the printing places that printed Marvel comics, who was putting on loads of printing plates from front covers that were actually used. And some of the stuff he had, I mean, they were like 4 figures.
Wow.
And they were going as well. Every time he'd list a new batch, they would go. And I know I know especially the older Marvel comics, that stuff is a whole different breed of collector. You get into the original art territory and the people who can spend a lot of money for that stuff. So, but I always find that stuff fascinating. Sorry, segue. Printing plates. So they're going to be in Gen Pop, or they're going to be kind of achievement based?
No, they're in the product. They're available for the general population.
Nice.
There will not be printing plates for every component of the product. However, there will be for the entire base set, and there will be for the 4 insert sets. So no printing plates for the stickers. I believe it's a slightly different process, not positive. But yes, we will have printing plates for the 2 elements of the base set. We'll have it for In Action, Marvel Greats, Monsters of Marvel, and Prototypes of the Past.
Gotcha. Where's the? I think you're about to say something. Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Was it 4 plates per character or 3?
That's correct. 4. We print with a CMYK color scheme, and so yes, there will be 4 per character per subject.
Now, are those 4 plates used simultaneously in the print process? Do they stack the plates, or do you know how it's?
Actually, I'm not positive. That's a great question.
Because I've had a few people ask me as far as how does it work? Is it sublimation printing? Is it there's a few different ways, and so they're curious and do the cards stack? Do over one one card first, the second, then third and fourth, and the 4 build the image?
I don't know for sure, but I think now that I'm thinking about it, so our vendors, the print machines that they use, sheets will fly, and they'll fly right out. It's so quick. So based on that, I would imagine all four get pressed down, laid down all at once, and I would imagine it's just one go round, one run through, and then boom, once that sheet fires out of the machine, it's ready. So I don't believe it's take the yellow, come back for the magenta, come back for the cyan. Due to the space and the machinery, I'm pretty sure it's just one pass.
And you'd have misalignment issues.
Absolutely. That's a good point.
Yeah, my question was, if I remember right, on the first set is for the sketch cards, they had to be themed a certain way. Are these sketch cards going to be themed a certain way as well?
That's a great question.
Great question. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just looking back through the paperwork here. Okay, so the Gen Pop sketch card, the sketch card available to the general population will just be a typical blank sketch card design with a little bit of nomenclature about what set it belongs to and who printed it. But the basic, I shouldn't say basic, the regular sketch cards will just be a regular blank design with a couple call outs similar to what we can see in other products. However, the sketch card achievement will have the 1963 border around it, much like we saw in the previous version. The 89 Marvel version had that 89 pinstripe border for the achievements only.
And what the last set you didn't have one-of-ones, but this one you do. Is it the same thing? Like you just didn't know what you didn't know, or what was the reason for the?
Well, that's also a good question. So, I mean, being a collector for over 3 decades, I think we might have started around the same time, Wesley, based on the episode that I watched with you. But I mean, I'm well aware. I would like to think that the first go round, this was mostly essentially when I arrived in the building, and I had worked with Grant alongside Grant many times on many things, and of course not to fire it off in his direction, but I think it's kind of at the time, I'll go with I didn't know enough to know enough, but I did have extra eyes on the product build, and it wasn't called out at any point. So, but I will fall on two swords at this point in this conversation. So
I was just curious, and I'm excited too that we're gonna have some one-on-ones in it too. But it's
well, it's all right for you. You've pulled one already this year.
That's right. Yeah. It's
platinum one at that.
Right. And it
nice.
and the guy has it now. It ended up grading a PSA 10 too. Yes, right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But yes, that is exciting.
You rarely see a 1 of 1 grading at a 10. It's unfortunately when I see the 1 of 1s, it's like a 7, 8, whatever, and people, you just have to live with it because it's the only one out there. But,
yeah, it's platinum though. You could throw that stuff at the wall and it'd still come back a 10. I mean, seriously, there's very little card in it.
Well, and actually, speaking, since it's on topic and since it's the character that TJ called out before, so I had to buy the base set single of Dr. Doom here.
So
and
good.
Actually, and actually, my two favorite villains for decades have been these two right here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
have you seen the variant? Well, of course you've seen. What am I thinking? The variant for Doom there with the two with the alligators.
Oh yes. I believe TJ, did you work on platinum? Not to deviate too far, but
a little. I did a little bit of platinum. I was lucky enough to be on that so we had nobody working on that because I had just started, so it was kind of sitting there. But that was the first product I got to work on where there were creators from comic books working on original art for us. So, Todd Noack, Bill Sienkiewicz, Mike Allred, Dave Dorman, like all these like heavy hitters there. So that was exciting. I love that.
Yeah, I'll use a TJ word. That was rad.
I certainly was.
We're showing our California location with that one. I have one final component from the product that I forgot to touch on. And TJ, if you would please, let's talk about Comics Greatest Spider-Man achievement cards. There are
Ooh,
9
that was
total achievement
fun.
cards. What can you tell us about that, TJ?
So that one was super cool because obviously there's only a handful of appearances of Spider-Man between 61, 62, and 63. So one of the things that I wanted to do was lean into the fact that almost out the gate, Spider-Man was insanely popular for Marvel. So each of these, there are two things. One, it's all of the first appearances of the initial Spidey villains, and then there is a team up in there, and it's Strange Tales Annual #2, which is the first team up solo of Spidey and the Human Torch, and it kind of starts that rivalry and that friendship and all that because it's the only two Marvel characters that are teenagers, but obviously they're both not sidekicks, which is unconventional. So they were really smart about starting a rivalry there between the two of them at that period. And so for me, on a something like this, like how do you pass up the opportunity to put them together?
That's a great point. Back then, as a teenage character, to not be a sidekick, that's just a great point.
Mhm.
Great
Yeah,
point.
even the X-Men, the initial 5 X-Men teenagers.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Marvel was so smart about knowing who their audience was, what their audience was, and I my comic book writing class that I teach, I always tell my students all the time, kids especially don't want to be treated like they're kids. They want to feel like they're older, and that was something that Marvel was really good at that period. Whereas books from other publishers still felt a little kid friendly, while these were still kid friendly in all ages. It was the complexities and all the stuff that Stan talked about with giving them real world problems, but it was just enough to allow the reader to go, I know how that feels.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Yeah, and
it's great.
if it's relatable, I mean that is a great head start. And who these characters, anyone reading these issues back in the day could see a lot of themselves in these characters and a lot of these characters in themselves. So however you can relate to a teenager, if you're a parent and you're like, how do I get through to my teenager? Well, if you take a
You
certain
don't.
approach. Yeah, yeah, this is not the parenting podcast, but no, I'm just kidding. I did want to mention though that again, like, if you're active on EPAC in the community, if you're active in, if you have a decent amount of inventory, or even a small amount, if you're active with your trade offers or even active in collecting here, I just wanted to share how a collector could get their hands on one of these Comics Greatest Spider-Man achievement cards. So the first stopping point for the achievements, you can redeem a complete set of inaction inserts, which is a 10 card set, coupled with a 10 card complete set of Marvel Greats. And those are 2 of the 4 insert sets. You need 20 cards. You redeem that, you can get your hands on a physical copy of Comics Greatest Spider-Man Achievements card #1. So
Nice.
some of these, we like to cascade it as being, let's make the easier stopping points first and make it more progressively difficult. You can casually collect and get what you want and head out, no problems. We're not going to hold you up at the door. If there's a particular character and you want to find that person on the secondary market, perfectly fine too. But yeah, some of these first few stopping points are very achievable. And not to be redundant again, this achievement program, I would like to think, is built with the collector in mind, whether, I'd say the top half is mainly for average folks, and maybe that bottom half can start to get a little thick for anybody who might have a larger inventory in EPAC, somebody who's more familiar with the trading environment on EPAC, or just somebody who just said, hey, I just got a few extra bucks in my pocket. Let's have some fun. So I did want to include the only way to achieve the 1963 sketch card is through the achievement program. And that is once you complete the achievement program. And so once all of the information becomes public, people will be able to figure out and identify and just glance through and what do I envision, what do I imagine I'll be capable of collecting here.
Gotcha.
But this is that achievement program, that additional component that we allow people to, it's kind of a treasure hunt in a way, and most of our collectors should not be brand new to the idea of the achievement program. It's in darn near anything we have, because it is part of our ecosystem, and we like to lean into that as well.
Yeah. So do we are you able to tell us the date that this is dropping?
Unfortunately, a specific date has not been shared with me yet. However, they have told me it's September, absolutely. So I thoroughly hope we learn very soon. It would have been ideal to have that date to announce it here right now. Unfortunately, I've heard September only.
No, that's okay. Well, it's a good job. I had a little banner prepared, you see. I was just
I
going to
see.
drop the number in there.
Beautiful.
No, I'm getting a little bit too good at this stream. I haven't stuck the landing yet. I should get to it.
Immediate. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. TJ, I'm very aware of the fact that you've got a meeting in 8 minutes' time that doesn't involve any of the people. Well, it might include Joe. I don't know. Joe, have you got a meeting at 2 o'clock?
No, I do not have a hard stop at 2.
Okay, well that's fine. Well, listen, we'll probably circle into land anyway, but we can always have a little chat after we finish recording. You know,
Sure.
Like we like to do. And you can tell me all the gossips. TJ, I promise I won't make him tell us anything secret.
Not too many things though.
Not too many things, no. So, is there anything else exciting either about this set? And I'm going to ask each of you to tell us one exciting thing that we don't already know, either about this set or about any other Marvel set, current, past, or future.
Oh,
I have one thing, and I'll try to keep it cryptic because I don't want to get visited by the sea level folks. Next month should be a fairly big month for EPAC.
Are we talking next month, as in when people hear this? Or
I'm sorry.
Next month, as in when we record?
We're time traveling, remember.
Because this is dropping in September. So September's going to be a big month for EPAC. Okay,
It should be.
Good. August was fucking nuts. So quite frankly, I don't know how you're going to top that. I'm exhausted.
Have any of you picked up Metal Universe Avengers yet?
I bought into some box breaks.
Yeah.
And on eBay, it hasn't broken yet, but I went in for Serpent Society because I like Secret Societies. You didn't have Hydra, so I did Serpent Society, and that high series of them at the table, that is cool. And then on a Whatnot, I bought into Serpent Society and Stingray. I don't know why, but Stingray, and I got a pink high series Stingray and a green PMG low series.
Oh,
because Stingray rules.
That's awesome.
Hang on.
And he kind of
hold that up again. Hold that up again.
Oh, sure. Hang on.
Yeah.
And again, because Stingray rules. It is one of the best costumes ever.
That is a great costume.
Hasn't changed since 1965.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
That's cool.
He hasn't changed
I've
since
been picking up.
1965.
I've been picking up some of his cards lately.
I love it.
I like his costume.
I was adamant when I got here. There were 2 characters I wanted to see more of in our cards, and it was Stingray and Jack of Hearts. Just because I think both of those costumes are killer. And I've been able to successfully make that happen. But I will tell you this, as far as Metal Universe Avengers goes, it is, and honestly, truly, and there are so many sets I've gotten to work on. 1989 was like one of the ones that was closest to my heart as far as my roots being a comic book reader, comic book collector, comics pro, all of these things. Metal Universe Avengers is my favorite set I've ever worked on. It is the most satisfying. So many things that I wanted to do, so many ways I wanted to see Marvel Comics represented, all happen in Metal Universe Avengers. And when I tell you, like, everyone, number one, is going to love it. Number 2, it's my favorite Beast card we've ever done.
Both Beast images are really good.
Thank you.
Oh, I wonder who ensures that happens.
I was adamant about the image that we chose for Beast on this, and it's amazing. I'm very happy with that set.
Well, it's the Beast that everybody kind of knows. Oh, I mean,
here, do you guys want to see it? I have it here with me.
Perfect.
All right. I really wanted to use. There's a variant cover for the X-Men, which is ironic because this is an Avengers set. It was J. Scott Campbell, Beast, and Shadowcat, my two favorite X-Men. And so I wanted that image of the Beast. Sorry,
That's ridiculous. That's
because
awesome.
I didn't want to do the typical Jim Lee route. I also, as much as I love Perez's Beast, I didn't want to use anything from that period. And so with this one right here, it kind of tapped into, while it's modern artwork, one of my early points to the Avengers when I was a kid, Beast was he was back with the X-Men again, but he was doing a little like moonlighting team up with the Avengers. And I really wanted to use that. And the best part was, while that's an X-Men image of the Beast, there's no X logo on his belt. You can't see it. So it was still a nice way of allowing it to be an Avengers Beast. So,
did you say it was J. Scott Campbell? Is that who that was?
Yep. Here, I'll pull it up once more. In fact, I think I have 2 Campbell cards in here.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Is it Jessica Jones? Yes, it is.
Yep.
Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah, these are beautiful.
What am I doing? Hands.
Opposite. Yeah.
There we go. But yes, I love those.
Wow.
I think every character's card in here is insanely cool. I mean, John Romita Jr., Ed McGuinness, Jen Bartel, you name it. Someone rad is on there. And then,
Nice.
Avengers villains don't get a lot of love because they're not like visually as cool as like the X-Men villains or Spidey villains. But this is where you get Whirlwind and Dread Knight and characters like that. So, like I said, my favorite set I've ever worked on. So I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Cool. Well, hopefully we'll be opening a box very soon. I can only imagine, TJ, that you've got a portfolio of images of a blue hairy man.
Oh, it's weird. My wife is questioning it. So
yeah. Okay.
It doesn't help that I'm a gray hairy. I look like first appearance furry Beast.
On that note, wow. I'm not going to go down that avenue. Let's move on. In fact, let's land this jalopy. So thank you, both of you, for jumping on. TJ, I know you've got another meeting to go to, so thank you very much. I'm sure
my pleasure.
Hopefully you've had some lunch. If not, grab a bagel on the way. And Joe, we'll say hello to you just after we finish here. But yeah, I really appreciate this, guys. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and
Absolutely.
I love the passion and the enthusiasm you bring to the product. So
it's a joy for us.
And we're with a passionate group right now, so we have a blast coming back here every time. So thank you, guys.
TJ, it's your turn. What do you
right.
want to say to the fine audience?
Guys, thanks for tuning in and enjoy collecting.
Love it.
There we go.
Nice.
Gave you a freeze frame there too.
Thanks for listening, folks. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share on YouTube or the podcast platform of your choice. The podcast can be found by Googling @the MCC Pod, which is also our handle on Facebook and Instagram. If you have an idea for podcast topics or want to be on the podcast, please reach out via social media or email us at themccpod@gmail.com. Our Facebook communities are MCCW, Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide, and MMC, Marvel Masterpieces Collectors. Creative design and logos for the podcast and groups are by artist Michael Munshaw. You can find him on Instagram @ArtofM2. The great music we use is called Rocket Power by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks to the collectors, artists and creators who support the Marvel Cards Fan Collective. We'll see you next time, and remember, collect your way and always be kind to others. Make mine Marvel and enjoy collecting.